Hey, what up, peeps? So it's just totally impromptu, but for the record, I'm not like super good at playing guitar or like metal guitar, but I just got the idea because like fully self-taught, which is like probably not a good thing, but a lot of guys who play metal kind of go that way because you hear a riff and you're like, I need to do that. I don't know, that's at least how it was for me. I was like, and I'd already had a guitar from before I was like super into metal when I was like 10 or 11, you know, and you're like a little kid, and like, oh, I don't know play, but see, that's not like a little piece of shit fucking, this horrible like Epiphone, like Sunburst, total piece of shit starter pack with a little crap ass amp. It was like $150 Guitar Center, rotting in your garage or your attic or whatever. But then like the urge to play came back to me because I'd quit then because I had like the how to play book from a fucking guitars. I was like, Mary had a little lamb bullshit. My dad was also like 60 something, and he was like trying to teach me how to play, but he was like super using knowledge from like way back in the day. So instead of teaching me like a power chord, he was like teaching me bar chords. Which, if you've never picked up a fucking guitar and you have like stubby fucking hands like mine, you're gonna be like totally convinced that you cannot play at all. Like if you're trying to do a bar chord for the first time, it's like trying to like touch your tongue to your eye. It's like you're like, bro, this is fucking impossible, dude. My fingers can't even do that. It's genetically impossible. Whatever. That's not really what I wanted to talk about. Basically, was getting at was that a lot of dudes who play metal and like extreme metal and stuff, you're not really like going and taking lessons at Guitar Center. You're kind of probably just sitting in your room for like as soon as you get home to like till you sleep on like Songster, looking at tabs, probably not even having a fucking clue how to read tabs or what all those fucking symbols mean. You just kind of figure it out along the way, or like, you know, a riff has a bend in it, so then you finally like put two and two together and you're like, oh, the line with the arrow. First off, this is not a video on how to read tabs, but you definitely need to figure out what every little symbol means. You should definitely be at that point. But what I wanted to kind of go off was, this is for the retards like me who, like, I've been playing for like a decade, and I could definitely be way better if I had, you know, now I have like, obviously I'm like an adult, and I have like a son and responsibilities, and I can't play like I used to all the time, whatever. And then a couple years in the military, I like stopped kind of playing completely. But the thing that I picked up probably too late was kind of, in the beginning, if you go back and look at like old videos of yourself playing, like there's always like, or if you look at like videos of like beginners playing, I feel like the one thing that stands out more than anything, and it's not like notes ringing or like string noise or like finger placement on the fret where you're kind of like too low on a fret or too high on a fret and you're like bordering into like another fret. It's like timing. It's always timing. Like, because playing any instrument or like guitar for the sake of the video, it's like you're trying to do, when you're so new to it, you're trying to do so many fucking things at once that the timing of it all is like, seems to be what gets lost in the sauce, or like the intricacy of like the flow of the riff or something. Like a note to a note will be like just a little too fast or just a little too slow. But when you're like new, you're just like over the moon that you can play like the notes semi together in general. So it just kind of ends up being this mess. And then when stuff seems out of reach, or you just can't seem to get something, I've noticed the culprit is typically like just not going and learning like the riff or the section by like the time signature, like by like again, no music theory, but if you're looking at like a riff and say there's 4 blocks of it and it's like in 3s, like triplets, you know, so if it's like, if something was like, or like, it's like Raining Blood, okay, that's like an easy one. It's a triplet riff. What we're using Tard speak, it's a triplet riff, you know. 1, 2, 3. Maybe it's not all triplet. No, bad example. Whatever. A lot of the times you're confused. It's because you're looking at it as like a whole thing rather than doing a section by section and then finding the way to flow them together or to like mash it together. Basically, when you're looking at a tab and it's got the brackets, do a bracket at a time. I've had that happen so many times where I'm like totally befuddled and like stuck on a part, and I just can't for the fucking life of me get it to like sound what it's supposed to sound like. And a lot of the times, if you go and you learn like the 4 notes that are bracketed, whatever the fuck you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. Again, that aspect of it, I'm the complete moron in. But you get what I'm putting down. I'll say for an example, because part of this solo, right? I took a couple screenshots so you can see what I'm saying. I'll like put them up here, but slowed down, it's. For me, the easiest way to approach stuff like that, back in the day, I used to look at it like the whole thing, or like whatever was what I was able to do. And I don't know why I did that, but I did, and I'm sure a ton of other people do as well. So if you're like, okay, I can do like the first part, so it's just like a 12, 13, 12, 10, you know, like okay, like, so if you can do that, but like sometimes it's not always landing on the 8th note of, you know, the quad section. So you like 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So like maybe you can get to. So you're like practicing to there rather than not worrying about that part that starts the next section. Just go off of like the first section. Once you can do the first one, do the second one, and then practice them together. So if you can do that, so and a lot of times what also ends up happening is that you can do both of those parts, but you can't for the fucking life you figure out how to bridge them. And you have to understand that a lot of the times you're looking at tabs that are just written by like somebody like me or like you or anybody else. And it's not like always the most like efficient way to play the song, whether or not it's totally accurate to the way the song sounds. It's not always the most efficient way to approach the song for you. As a matter of fact, there are a ton of different spots on a fretboard that you can play the exact same note. Because like the tabs, so I'll go back and show what I'm. It's Within the Mind by Death. It's the last solo, Chuck solo. So it's that was almost here. This is the way I'll show you the way it was written and then the way I want to play it. That's it. Going slow is weird. So the part that I just kind of altered to fit what I find more comfortable for myself, or like what I feel better playing, that isn't like totally just making it more strainful or more this or more that, just what I would rather do for that section, which is something that I feel like people do not think that they can do in this kind of stage, wherever the fuck you're at, that you do not. If a part requires you to play this, that, and the other note, and you are struggling with it, you do in fact have the ability to just find that spot somewhere else on the guitar. Now, there is a caveat to that, which is in that, like, sonically, the strings that you're hitting are going to be a different sounding based on what string it is. So a lot of the times there is a reason for the note to be played higher up the neck than lower, because if you're playing, like, let's find a note that's the same. So if we can find, like, this, there's a difference. It's much sharper up here, and it's a bit more kind of middle ground down here. I'm also on the neck pickup, so let's go to the bridge. See what I'm saying? There is a different sound to it, so there is a reason that sometimes you don't want to do that. Sometimes you just want to kind of go with what's available, but that's kind of like small potatoes, unless you're like a freak about shit. That was just, I had to add that extra in there. But you can just not play it the way it's telling you to, and just find it. If you can find the notes in a different spot on a different string that you feel better with, fucking do it. And a lot of the times it gets you out of, like, a tough spot with, like, a riff or a section or a solo that you're like, oh, because as we all know, a lot of the times, like, you'll have a whole song on block, but there's a part of the solo that you can't do, so you don't feel like you've learned the song, or you don't feel like you have the song, because there's one fucking part that, like, there's a little section in that you just cannot get, and that you're never going to record the cover or whatever the fuck, because there's that one little fucking part that you can't do. So a lot of the times, like I'm saying, like, you can go by the chunk, by the section, by the 4 notes. If it's in 4/4, it's 4 4 4 4, do the 4 and then do the other 4 and then find a way to bring them together. So now you're doing the 8 and make that your whole section. Like, again, back to this part. So if you can do that part, see, that was 3 sections of 4 notes. 1 2 3 4. 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4. But a lot of times people get kind of blocked up moving them, and that's just something you kind of have to play around with. How am I going to get these two together, like, organically, without a gap? And then that's kind of where you move out of that kind of, like, beginner, kind of, like, very mechanical, sterile kind of sound, where it's like something that's just kind of off, and then it sounds normal, is when you are able to start bridging those gaps, and making the timing add up. I'm still practicing this one, that's why I'm, like, making the video. Back to the thing. This is how it was tabbed out, right? So all of this part was the same. Then it goes from here, A on the 12. So instead of doing this, I just opted to stay on the same string. So instead of going down, so instead of doing this, I'm just doing this. Now, that might not be the right idea if you have, like, stretching problems or if you have a weak pinky. But for me, it's not a problem. Like I can do that just fine. I can go middle finger on 9 to pinky on 12. Like it's not crazy for me at all. That was just kind of like some stuff I wanted to spit. It's probably incoherent schizo ramble, but yeah, I was doing this instead of this. I have kind of an area I am very deficient in. I haven't kind of figured out yet is the 2-string back and forth. Like there's a lot of that in solos. And that's kind of why I opted to go over here. I don't know. Hope it helped.